Five, four.
It's Ayan, live from Makati. We have been absent for several weeks now, and we're just beginning again to be able to broadcast. And this will be very short, maybe 15 minutes, because we lack of power. We have to be very short here, but if you have any questions, we will answer them. Our topic this afternoon, what I want to discuss with you is what is the nature of psychic perception? Where does it come from? Have you not ever wondered why some people can see the future? Some people can see the past. Some people can see ghosts or spirits. Others cannot. Some people can read minds. No? Some people can walk on fire and do certain things. No? Do remote viewing, can describe things that they have never seen before, no? Or a place. That's to remote viewing. They can diagnose an illness of a person just through the pictures. Others cannot. Where does this ability come from? How come that we are not able to do this uh, all the time? Are there people who are gifted with this power and others are not? Well, I want to tell you that as far as I'm concerned, everybody has psychic ability. Everybody, no exception. Because this psychic ability or mental power is part of the mental faculty of every person. Everyone has it. No? But only some have more of it than others. Like some people can draw better than other people. Some people can sing better than others. Everybody can sing. Everybody can draw a cat or a house, but not everybody can draw like Marsolo, or Picasso or whatever you know. And why is it so that some people can do these things with their mind, others cannot? I think this is a question of your consciousness, your level of consciousness, your ability to transcend the physical uh, the physical mode, the physical aspect of man. There is a faculty in our mind or maybe in our brain that can perceive these things. That's why it's called extrasensory perception. Actually, there are only five senses, but when you talk of extrasensory perception, we are referring to the spiritual faculty, spiritual eye, not the physical eye. So there are people who are naturally open to this. They have this facility to be able to do this all the time. Most of us can do this from time to time. We cannot control it. In my case, I have done so many unbelievable things, but I cannot control it. I cannot repeat it. For example, there was a time when I had a visitor at home, and there were several people there, including a doctor from Switzerland. And this friend of mine, Tony, came in, and he said he had a headache. So I was joking him and said, Tony, let me see what your head is coming from, where it's coming from. And he was in front of me. We were seated on the floor, on a carpeted floor in my library at home. And I saw a skeleton, of the nose. I saw the structure of the nose, which I have never seen before. And I saw that there is something wrong. It's crooked, no? The nose is crooked. And I was saying, you know, condition. I don't know what a deviated symptom is, but Tony said that's correct because I have really a deviated symptom, septum, and that's why she has, I think, sinusitis and headaches. It's coming from there. Where did I get that ability? That particular, I cannot always do this. I've tried several times doing this deliberately. I couldn't do it. And the only time I again was able to do this second time, I was working with a rubber shoe company in the Valiches. My assistant asked to be excused to go home because he had a very severe pain in the stomach. And I said, why don't you go to the clinic and get some prescription or some medicine? And she said she has just gone to the clinic and drank the medicine, but still the pain is there. And I said, you cannot go home because we have a deadline this afternoon, a report to be given to the general manager. So I said, well, see, let me see what I can do. I come over to my room. So she went to the room. Myself, I asked my secretary to be with us, so there will be no rumors. Because this company has a lot of people who rumors. So I sat in front of her, and I tuned into her small stomach with my eyes closed. And then I saw the stomach is her internal organ. I saw with my eyes closed. And I saw that the lower part of the stomach is colored black. The upper portion of her stomach was blue. And I instinctively knew that the problem was in the black area. So what I did is try to change the color to blue. And gradually it turned to blue. And when I have seen it turn to blue, I said, now open your eyes. And she opened her eyes and she said, the pain was completely gone. Now, how did I do that? I have not been able to do this. See, psychic perception like this comes when you are not really thinking about it, when you are in a meditative state, when you're at what you call the alpha level of the brainwaves, which is 7 to 14 cycles per second, or theta state, which is 4 to 7 cycles per second, when you are in that state where you're in a state of trance, actually, in an altered state of consciousness. And that is when psychic perception becomes very strong, when it happens. So since our brainwaves are not constant, sometimes it's on the beta brainwave where we know the things outside of us and we perceive outside. Sometimes it goes down to alpha level and theta, and that's when psychic perception happens. So that is the basis for psychic perception is the brain waves. When your brainwave goes down to the alpha level or theta, then you are able to do certain things at that level, which you cannot do at other levels of the brain waves. And this, unfortunately, this is not known to science. And that's why when people exhibit this, they said it's nonsense, it's fraudulent, it's deception, it's chance, it's coincidence, etc., etc. But they never think of it as something that can be developed. And in some people, this ability, say, to read minds and to tell the future, to see spirits, can be developed. And for example, in the case of Uri Geller, I met him in 1994, he did a fantastic telepathy exercise with me, where he asked me to draw something. And I drew something which is funny, which I didn't even know what it was because I was very excited. I drew something which cannot be identified what it is. I was trying to draw a flower, but it didn't look like a flower. But despite that, Uri Geller was able to duplicate my drawing. And I said, how do you do that? He said, when you transmit the message to me telepathically, I go inside myself, my mind, and if the image stays for 20 seconds in my mind, I know that I got it correct. So for him, he was able to do this for thousands, hundreds of thousands of times to many people, just developed this ability to do this. But for us, well, we have to practice for this to be regular. So that what happens to me, since I do not practice, I can do it sometimes, I cannot, sometimes I cannot. But it's very interesting that there are many things that I have done which are completely unbelievable, including healing. I have done several remarkable healings, uh, which will astound a medical person. But I don't know how I did it. It cannot be summoned at will because I don't have the practice. So psychic perception exists, and it's available to everybody. We have the faculty that we are not using. It's a hidden or secret faculty, and somehow the mystics say that it is related to the pineal gland. The pineal gland is sometimes associated with the third eye or clairvoyance. And when the third eye is open or the pineal gland is activated, then you can see things. You see. So this is how I explain the fact that there are certain people who are able to really perceive things that cannot be perceived physically. So psychic perception, ESP, telepathy, clairvoyance, telekinesis, and several others, is a faculty that is available to all of us if we practice it. We know how to use it, then it can be developed. Okay. Now that I don't know how many minutes we have left, but let me give you some of the questions I have. There is one who wrote me an email that he has so many questions, and some of these questions I know that some people also are wondering about. Also, so let me just ask these questions that she asked, or let me just put it out. Post pandemic, are there plans to restore the face-to-face seminars? Will they be done once a month like before? Or she said, I prefer in-person seminars to online. Well, I prefer that too, but circumstances do not allow us to do this. So I have actually not I have actually stopped doing face-to-face and shifted to the internet on this. I would really prefer a face-to-face also. But for the time being, I have to suspend this face-to-face seminars. But we have online on the internet 3 seminars: the telepathy exercise telepathy seminar, which is 1.5 hours; the self-healing through visualization seminar, which is 2 hours; and the soul match karma and reincarnation seminar, which is 3 hours. We will probably um, offer additional seminars later on when we'll get used to this new technology of doing it through Zoom or StreamYard, other platforms. And another question, in both online seminars, are there course materials, readings given? Well, we can, but we don't provide really that one. It's going to be difficult because some of our participants in the online seminars are abroad. No, some are in Saudi Arabia, in the US, Australia, Singapore, Taiwan, and several other countries. I was surprised that there are a lot of people outside the Philippines who are interested in this. So it's difficult to be giving this material so far away. Okay, the face-to-face seminar on soulmates karma reincarnation used to be 6 hours. The online seminar is only 3 hours. What's the difference? Very good question. Actually, there is no essential difference. Every topic contained in the face-to-face 6 hours, every topic is there in the 3 hours. The difference is that there is only one meditation in the online seminar of SKR, whereas in the face-to-face, there are two meditations. One exploring your past life, and the other is meditation with a mate or lover. In the online seminar, we don't have this second meditation on meditation with a mate or lover. And also the reason why it's longer face to face is that people ask a lot of questions. There's so many questions, and we spend a lot of time really discussing this. It's very animated. It's a lot of question and answers. We don't have this kind of situation in online. Very few people ask questions, so we can really shorten it. But there is no topic that is missing in the online seminar, except the meditation with the mate or lover. Is that the same? Okay. What else? What on the other question? Let me see. There's still so many questions. Face-to-face seminar. In your Facebook post on ESP, advanced ESP, whether it will continue to do this, it's difficult. It's 5 days. It's difficult to do the advance. I really wish we could, but we cannot. Are you still be the one personally conducting the seminars? Yes, and the online seminar, I'm the only one conducting this. And then in one of your Facebook question and answer, you were asked about the law of attraction. And you said that for it to work, you must be in the theta state, meditative state. Following this line of thinking, then does this mean listening to subliminal audio messages while sleeping is effective to say healing the body? Well, this if you do it while sleeping, it's very controversial while sleeping because you're asleep. But if you do this while awake and going down to the meditative level of either alpha or theta, yes, it's more effective. Why is it so? Because when you slow down your brainwave to alpha and theta, you open up certain avenues in the subconscious mind. And there is synchronization between the brainwaves of the left and right hemispheres. And if there is synchronization of the brainwaves of the two hemispheres, you open up some avenue of subconscious mind which we cannot do when you're at the beta level. So when you do some psychic works, actually you're doing it at the lower levels of the brainwaves without actually knowing it. And that's the trick, or that's the key to psychic perception. It is on, and even seeing spirits. You don't see spirits on the beta level. You see spirits when you are at the theta level, or maybe at alpha you can still see, but theta level, then you can connect to the spirit world. And that's the basis for this. That's the reason why this happens. So the problem with science is that since they do not know the explanation for this, they consider this type of ability to be fraudulent, deception, sleight of hands, trickery, and they don't believe that this can happen. Although there is a lot of evidence all over the world for these abilities, especially now, the Institute of Noetic Sciences in Sausalito, California, have been studying these things and the what we call the fringes of science. This institute was developed or established by Edgar Mitchell, the American astronaut who was the sixth man to walk on the moon. And he conducted telepathy exercises while in outer space without the knowledge of NASA. And he succeeded in sending messages received by at least two people were correct out of four persons to whom he sent this. Were able to correctly tell what was the message being sent to them from outer space. So psychic perception, going back to it, is normal. It is not something abnormal, and you don't have to be Superman or the X-Men or some freaks of nature to be able to do this. Normal people have this ability. If we can only try to study this. Okay. So let's go to some questions and we will end this in a short while. From Louis Peralta, hi, Sir Jimmy, how often should we practice to hone our ESP skills? Meditation twice a day, 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the afternoon or evening before going to sleep will enhance your intuitive powers. Okay. What other question from Esther Regulo Peranil? Hi, Professor Jimmy. Good afternoon. Nice to see you on FB. I was your student way back in 2013. Hope we could have a reunion after the pandemic. Would you know when this pandemic COVID-19 will end? I don't know. It will not end soon. It will not end next year. We don't know. There is something which is has puzzled the whole world, experts, scientists, philosophers, mystics. We don't have an answer. It is something that the world is undergoing for the first time. It is this big. We've had plagues before, so the blood plague and all that. Oh, but this is the first time this happened to this extent. So we don't know. I don't have an answer. I've tried to get answers from the higher intelligence. I didn't get any answer. Okay, Che Lee said good afternoon. Okay, good afternoon also, Che. And Dio Franco Cruz Tercero. Does everyone has a guardian spirit? Yes. Well, spirit guide. We call it spirit. Everyone. When we are born, there is a spirit guide. It's different from an angel. A spirit guide is somebody that you have been with in a previous life. Okay. So April Villa, good afternoon. I'm a Reiki healer. I was amazed with my ability. One day when I was practicing a gift, I found that I was able to detect illnesses by just hovering my hands on the patient, even at a distance. Correct. Everything is vibration. Everything is, yes, it's vibration, it's frequency. And we can detect it with our hands, with our eyes. We can diagnose a person through the picture, or even sometimes just the name of a person, like what Edgar Casey. Or he's in a trance and somebody gives him a name and he can tell everything about that person. Yes, we have such an ability. Is it possible to communicate with your spirit guide, Gianfranco Cruz Tercero? Yes, but it's difficult. Even I have not been able to communicate with. I was supposed to have. I'm supposed to have eight, well, seven spirit guides, and so later I was told it's eight by several people unknown to each other. And I was told I had seven spirit guides, and I've tried for so long to communicate with them, but they have not communicated back to me. So I don't know why. So okay, well, Michaela just saying good afternoon. So thank you very much, Michaela. So Chelsea Paris, also Paris. And I was in Paris, the owner of this hotel, Paris Hilton. Anyway, so there are no more questions, and about time that we um, say goodbye to this and look at us up again on. There's another question. Oh, see, Chelsea Paris. I was under the water snorkeling when I suddenly heard my dead brother's voice, and he said, "Ate, ito, hangit, swim." Oh, ingat siguro to. When I managed to swim to the surface, I happened to see a motorboat near running to my body. Is it possible that he is now my spirit guide? Oh, it is possible. It is very possible, yes. Some spirits, uh, parents especially, lovers, they guide us also from the other side. Shiyuko Nakamura, I have been reading cards for a few years. Good. Not doing it for money. So it's accurate, but I have never been trained. Or you should just practice it. Is it safe to say I have a talent? Yes. According to Kospensky, mystic, on this very important essay on the tarot card. So the tarot card cannot be read by anybody. You don't even have to have a guide, or you don't even have to have a, this thing that they use as a guide. What's the meaning of the pictures? I tried it in 1984, and I was very accurate the first time I did it. I was 80% accurate. After 2 months, 90%. After 3 months, I was 100% accurate. After 3 months, so I gave it up because I got afraid. Well, how can I be that 100%? So the tarot is a very interesting instrument for telling the future and for actually enlightenment, for higher consciousness. Russell Marvel Montel Mendoza Montojo, my God, your, your name is kilometric. Wala po ba kayong ibinibenta ng e-book na may aklat niyo, sir? Oh, I have e-book. Thank you for asking. There is an e-book titled "How to Develop Your ESP," but which is available only in the U.S. Kindle ebooks or Amazon.com for $8 US. You can order it, and if you order it immediately, it's in your laptop or in your whatever, or what do you call laptop or
Tablet.
huh?
Tablet.
Tablet or whatever. You'll have it for $8. That's for $8. What? 450, 500, less than 500 pesos, and it's with you. It's called "How to Develop ESP," a step-by-step guide to opening your third eye. Get it? It's not available in the Philippines. See? So I hope that you will take advantage of this. The Franco Cruz Tercero, what is your opinion of James Randi, $1,000,000? Oh, come on. You read my book, Understanding Psychic. I had a big debate with James Randi. By the way, he died recently, and he was one who hounded Uri Geller for years, saying that Uri Geller was fake and all that kind of stuff. So when he died, Uri Geller said, recently I saw his post I think he is the one that's nonsense because does not have an open mind. The world is changing. Even scientists now, the conservative scientists, are beginning to open up their minds to things that are outside uh, the ambit of scientific um, paradigm. So let's open up our minds. Let's have an open mind, and because if we close our mind, we'll never progress. How old are you? According to Kathy, I am 3,580 years old as of now. I don't look like it now. Okay, my last incarnation was 3,500 years ago in Egypt. Jay Del Rosario, good day for you. Do you train people to develop ESP? Of course. That's what I've been doing for the past, I don't know, so many lifetimes. I've been doing it since 88, and up to now, I'm still doing it. Okay, I think there's one more or no more. So I'd like to say goodbye again, and I thank you for watching this Jimmy Licauco signing off for now.